have to know that they're going to try to get some exes in here. It's the drama factor. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Reality Train Wreck. As we continue to review these crazy stories that come out about the people involved outside of the show itself, more and more crazy happens. And so it so happens that today we have the same writer I talked about in one of my previous episodes, where he just gave a glowing review of how excited he was, how much optimism he had about the show. Now, I point out on there that there were issues with that and how you just completely overlook all the negative that was clearly visible. But now we have more stories of maybe he's coming to realize this while still making crazy claims. But first, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends, and I appreciate all the support. Y'all are awesome, and thank you for joining me every time for these videos. It does not go unnoticed. Y'all are amazing. I can't say it enough. Let's get right into it. So we are talking, of course, about Mick Jost. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Mick, maybe it's Jost. It sounds like it. I'm going with Mick Jost. But he was the writer of the article I talked about before. I don't remember exactly everything about it, but I do remember that it was very high praise, with very early on looking at 90 Day Fiance, Hunt for Love. And it was just completely oblivious to all the red flags, like, I don't know, throwing random people in there, putting exes in there, doing all these things, setting people up for failure by having them at this resort level while plying them with alcohol. And instead, he was optimistic. But now there are some interesting things about what we have going on. The first one, he writes about Tim. Now, he is also pretty much wrong in this one too, when he's talking about Tim and how Tim was set up. It was for failure. Oh my gosh. And now all of a sudden, Mick Jost is finding it hard to watch. All I know is that if you really truly believe that what you were saying, what you wanted to happen, you wanted them to find love, you thought it was really about the love, then you don't really know these reality shows. Yes, there can be hope for someone actually having happiness after the fact. But you have to acknowledge that these shows, what they do is it's run by the producers. The contestants, the people involved, have very little control, and they basically do what they're told. They selectively edit to make things look even crazier than it is, and you have to go into the show knowing that. One reason I don't feel bad when we're talking about the people involved is it may be selectively edited, but they all signed up for this, and they should know how it's done at this point. Reality TV has been around for 25, 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is. By now, we know how it works. But let's get into the first story that Mick Jost talks about. So he writes for the title, 90 Day Hunt for Love really set Tim up for failure, and I'm finding it hard to watch. What? You're finding it hard to watch now, but you were so excited. He says, I am still all in on 90 Day Hunt for Love, sure, but I'm beginning to suspect it isn't as perfect as I initially thought when it popped up on the schedule. Oh yeah, glowing review made it seem like it's perfect. What are your clues now that it's not exactly perfect that weren't there before? Because everything was there on the first episode, everything. And if you were simply going off of promos, well then, why are you writing stories about it? There could only be two explanations. One, you are really just oblivious, you're not thinking logically, and you really just have no clue because you're just blind to it. Or you're a shill for the show. I'm going to say you're a shill for the show, and you're probably writing articles overall positively about the show, trying to get more publicity for them. Maybe you're paid by them. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, there's probably an explanation. While he originally plays the show with its optimistic vibes, it did not have optimistic vibes. I don't know what you were looking at. He realized that Tim isn't being treated like the other cast members. This is where he starts to go down the path of poor Tim. Said everyone in the cast came in with some baggage from their past relationships. That said, I'd sooner deal with that than show up to a resort looking for love and seeing my ex there as well. Jennifer is also a 90 Day spinoff, and the interactions between the two are making their scenes hard to watch. Okay. Let's look at it like this. You're saying your ex. Sure, it is his ex. Okay, I get that. Courtney was held up with Usman for a week on vacation, sleeping with him for pretty much that entire week. Is that not drama that they created? Sure, but you're completely disregarding that. You think the show didn't know about that before they came in? Of course they did. They just don't act like they know about it. But they know all of these things. You have all these randoms coming in. You have Colt, who is just cringeworthy. You have Rob, who is just bouncing from person to person, is not ready for a relationship, but is, on to the next thing, basically, trying to make it work. You have Elise, who can't help but tell everyone about her sexual exploits and then cry victim at the first chance she gets. You have Chanel, who's confused about a friend kissing her before she came on. But you're going to talk about Jennifer and Tim's baggage, and that's the worst. But Tim's being singled out, right? The thing about them is that they might have been the only ones with exes that actually agreed to come on the show. Who knows? Either way, you have to know that they're going to try to get some exes in here. It's the drama factor. It was always going to happen. Stop acting like you're ignorant to this. You know this. Are you just lying in the article? What's going on here? Both confirm that they didn't expect the other to be there, sure, and it's clear that whatever issues they had when they last saw each other have not been resolved. Then the writer writes, I can't help but feel like the producers did Tim dirty, turning his 90-day hunt for love story into the last resort and inviting his ex, with whom he is clearly not on good terms. Sure, there's another former couple in the show. He mentions it, he buries it in the article, Courtney and Usman, but those two aren't actively walking around spreading gossip about each other. Are you high? Courtney spreads gossip about everybody. She wants to talk about everyone behind their back. Usman is lying about all the interactions and then talking about people behind their back as well. He was talking about Tim behind, or after Jennifer said something, he was talking about Tim to Courtney. Courtney was talking about everybody. What are you talking about? He's lying about his interactions with Courtney. Courtney's selectively leaving out things for their interaction. It's dumb. Everything is dumb. But you saying that, oh, it's different. You are trying, I don't know what it is. You like Tim for some reason. Fine. Tim seems nice enough. A little odd, but seems nice enough. But he knows what he got into here. And the fact is he's trying to play victim by making it seem like I'm just trying to find love. I don't know why this happened to me. While having been with the actual franchise for years at this point, knowing how they do things, he is not a victim. He is someone who wanted to come here, probably for the vacation, probably wanted to get in front of the camera. The reality is, every time he's been in a relationship, he doesn't even appear to put forth any real effort. Now, does that mean that the person's for him? Maybe they're not for him, and that's fine. But they keep bringing him back because he's odd. He's a bizarre person. He has all these kind of whimsical ways about him, and his sexuality is constantly questioned. That's why they bring him back, because they want to bring it for the ratings. So if you're trying to make it seem like, oh, they're doing him dirty for the love thing, maybe, but they're doing everyone dirty. They don't really want anyone to find love. What they want is they want the drama. They want the fights, and they're going to get it. And all of these people know that, and they signed up for it. Now, the people that aren't involved in 90 Day Fiance, maybe they didn't know it to that level. That's possible. But they know they're signing up for a show, so I still don't really feel bad for them. This writer doesn't know what he's talking about. I get it. It's an opinion piece. But how can your opinion be so wrong? My God. But he had another article. It's like he's just, this is what it is. This is why I think I don't know if he's a shill for the show, because not everything is super positive now, but at the same time, everything is about 90 Day Fiance, and then it's like, oh, it's great, it's not, it kind of keeps people interested, so he very well might be a shill for the show. Mr. Jost wrote about Rob, saying, I had hoped for Rob on 90 Day Hunt for Love, but it seems he's back to his old habits. Shocker there. Said, I was riding pretty high, so he's saying the same thing he said about the other one. I think this article actually came first, but he's saying the same thing he said about the other one. I was riding high, I was so excited, oh my gosh. Not even this 90-day spinoff can escape big fights, and unfortunately the first one came from the cast member I was perhaps rooting for the most, Rob. He said, we saw Rob was in the cast. I was already feeling optimistic for what was next for him after 90 Day Diaries update, but now I'm feeling a bit disappointed, hoping he'd thrive, blah, blah, blah. Rob wasted no time in getting to know someone at the resort and was spotted smooching and checking out the rear of Elise, leaving out the part that he stated to out in the open that he was not trying to move that quickly. And then she said, hey, if I show you my butt, then you have to kiss me. And should he have gone forward with it? No. But you're acting like it was a one-way thing, like he was seen smooching there. I hate to break it to you. Elise was very pushy anyway. He should have backed off. He should have said no. She would have gotten pissed. She would have thrown a tantrum. That's pretty clear because she's not emotionally stable. But he should have done that. Now he's in for a rude awakening, but it was not only him that participated. It seemed they were very interested in one another. Rob didn't want to commit to someone on night one. There was a whole resort full of singles. Well, that's fine that was the case, but Elise took offense to him rating her on the same level as all the other hot dub speed dates in an exercise earlier. If Rob truly felt that way, she openly wondered in the bar, then why was he texting her all night, blah, blah, blah. She showed the text messages, they were pretty tame. Like, you're making it seem like there was this whole thing that just was not there. As one might guess, Rob didn't like being called out, but rather than walk away or try to explain himself, he matched Elise's energy. He then began shouting and demanding Elise show proof and assure her that she shouldn't feel offended by that. See, he's trying to make it seem like he's this big aggressor when Elise was off the chain crazy. She has no business being with anyone. She's the type that might hurt you because you do something the wrong way or because she assumes something that's just not true. I'm not saying the whole exchange was his fault. Oh, there it is, buried again, but it felt exactly like an argument he would have had with his ex-wife. So what? So what? What do you want Rob to do? I think Rob is awful to be in a relationship right now. But you're actually making the case for why he's right, why he was right in everything. You're bringing up all the negativity that Elise did, and everything was her fault. And now you're going to try to say, I feel like he would have done this to his ex-wife. Okay, his ex-wife was immature too. They had issues, and he was not the only problem in that relationship. Rob and Sophie's fights after marriage were so contentious that they almost immediately moved apart after the wedding. Also, finding each other again and then sleeping together for a while, so there's that as well. It feels as though 90 Day Hunt for Love is exposing the bad habits Rob had during his marriage, playing the field and being quick to anger for being called out on it. This is the whole purpose of the show, is playing the field. That's what it is. That's all it is. That's everything it is. They're trying to make it seem like, hey, you want to find love, come here. But that's the whole point. They put a bunch of people in there and you play the field. And this writer is saying, well, he's doing his old, he's playing the field. That's what they set it up for. Now, you could argue it's not right if you actually want to find love when you're basically on Temptation Island, but the fact is that's what it is. That's what they're there for, and yet you're going to criticize him for it. You are literally making the case for Rob not doing anything wrong in this, only some minor things. And this is coming from the person who is saying he is not ready for a relationship. Clearly, he doesn't know what he wants. He just wants to be there for a vacation. And you know what? Power to him, because they're giving him that opportunity. This writer, I don't know how he continues to get these articles because these opinions are crazy. But you know what? Power to him. Keep on creating. And if I see a fun article, then I will keep presenting because I like to dispute it. What can I say? I think Mr. Jost is seeing it the wrong way. But if he's enjoying it, then hey, power to him. I ain't mad at him. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends, and I will see y'all next time.